Well, I'd like to tell you it was a beautiful weekend. It was great for us, for the most part, but for the Breeders' Crown, man, oh man, who wanted to see all that rain? All that rain on Breeders' Crown night. What a crappy night. But nevertheless, it was great racing, money or otherwise. I was always surprised. You know what? I think I kind of dropped the ball a bit when it come to the Breeders' Crown. I was so focused on globetrotting. I was so focused on our racing, getting our babies broke and going, getting shares sold, talking to clients. It didn't dawn on me how many people would be in Ontario. I don't know why I missed this. How many people would be in Ontario, both clients and I guess, for lack of a better word, potential clients, people that were just interested in what we were doing. How many would be interested to come out and watch the babies go Saturday morning? Friday, I was at the track and I started getting text messages from people coming up to me saying I'm coming out to the farm. I don't know how many people we had out here, probably 50, maybe a little more, depending on when people were here, people at the fence, people in the barn area. We had a lot of people at the track, at the farm. And I don't really know what we could have done differently other than just to tell people, hey, Friday night there's a Breeders' Crown. Saturday, all those people are still in town. You have nothing to do Saturday morning, come on out to the farm. And I think I kind of dropped the ball on that. It's my fault. I think mostly because fundamentally the Breeders' Crown is kind of lost on me, right? When I grew up watching John Campbell, Bill O'Donnell, and Mike LaChance, all the Breeders' Crowns. It was such a big deal, but it was also fairly clear to me throughout my racing career that aside from a few appearances here and there on a long shot, I likely wouldn't be able to experience the Breeders' Crown the same way that Brittany Farms does, Tony Alagna did, Dexter Dunn, Andy McCarthy, the way that Tim Tetrick has in the past, and Yannick Gingras, and tons of people, including my brother, both younger, Mark, who's injured now, and James, who got to drive a few horses in the Breeders' Crown this year. And I think because of that, it kind of desensitized me to what kind of a big deal it is. Like, how big is it to have the best horses, the biggest farms, the biggest drivers come from everywhere? And then you have a horse like Bold Eagle who came from overseas to race here. It just, I feel that the industry itself has desensitized me a little bit, and maybe it was the fact that I didn't believe that we could ever be a part of that I could ever be a part of that really maybe led me astray. Maybe that's why I was driving Totally Tactor in race 3 at Flamborough last night rather than sitting in the bar, awestruck like everybody else of the power and the speed and the horses that were there. It sunk in early in the Friday program, but at that point it's already too late. We still had a number of people come out to the farm that otherwise wouldn't. A number of people from England and Ireland, both current and former clients and potential future clients. People that had come out to the barn were really interested to see what we were going to do. And we had a great day, didn't we? It was a little chilly, but it was a sunny day. No real mishaps of any kind. And for the most part, lots of horses look great. I got a list of 23 horses that caught my eye yesterday. I said, it'd be cool. It's the first day. Even though some of the horses have only had their harness on for a week, it would be neat to have a top 10 list. These are horses that caught my eye. 23 of them went well. And the ones that didn't, it wasn't that they didn't go well. A couple of them made breaks or just did their work. Horse like Better's Hope, one of the better looking colts that we have. Very well bred, very interesting. A lot of people interested in him, and a lot of people bought into him. He's only had the harness on for what? A week and a half, 2 weeks. He only had the hobbles on 4 days. Can't expect him to go out there and do very much. And I was very happy with him, but he didn't make the list of 23 because he did what I assumed he'd do. Morwee was up, had the harness on 2 days. Had the hobbles on 2 days, the harness on 6 days. Did his work, goofed off a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. And then we had a number of clients that were concerned. Oh, what's wrong with this horse? What's wrong with that horse? Because we let everybody behind the curtain, right? You get to see everything from day one to beyond. You don't realize that it would be like me saying, why can't my kid skate? I bought him skates. They're sharpened. They're brand new. Best kind of skates in the world. He goes out in the ice and he falls down the whole time. Why can't he skate? Because he can't skate yet? Would be the best answer, I think. And that's the thing, is a lot of our clients look at this, say, one of our clients said, what's wrong with Let's Roll On? There's nothing wrong with Let's Roll On. He had a bad day. I went with him when we had that like impromptu drone session 2-3 weeks ago. I thought he was great. I thought he was perfect. He didn't look great yesterday, but there could be a number of reasons for that. You know, he could be a little sick. He could have kicked the wall. There didn't seem to be anything wrong with him. And as you start to feed them a little bit of speed, you guys didn't get to see it, but I'm Hill on Wheels was terrible all week. Made a little shoeing change, which you wouldn't think would help a yearling, but it did. He was totally different. It was great 2 days ago, Friday morning when I went with him. He was great. James went with him yesterday. Great again. See, we're going to keep this trend up. But these are the little things we get to see. Now, for me, you guys like to go in and watch your horses. I like to go in and watch all the videos, talk to all the drivers, go in and watch all the videos, and then make a list of horses I need to go with, that I want to go with. I'm Hill on Wheels. Made that list all week. It's perfect. Now, it's not like I can fix them all, but I want to see what they're doing wrong so that we can try and help them do it right. And you can be sure Let's Roll On is now on that list. I have no concerns over it, and I hope everybody understands that this is a long process, right? July 1st is when they're ready to race, right? Middle of June is when they qualify. 7-8 months away. Just relax. Lots of time. I said this about for our clients last year. That bought horses at the start, it was the same thing. All went. Perfect example. Spirit of Dio. Every week she made a break. It seemed like every single week she run. And I told everybody, just relax. Long year. She'll learn to do her work right. She won her last start in 56 and put away, I don't know, 35 or 40,000, but looked good doing it. Looked like she is going to be a nice 3-year-old, and a horse her size. You couldn't ask any more from her as a 2-year-old. And these are the things that we go through. Canadian Titan, another filly, really wasn't spectacular all year, kind of always did her work okay. Ended up being a really, really nice filly, putting together over $50,000, finishing second in 57, the last stake race of the year, and has grown into a big, big girl, and looks like she's going to be a really good 3-year-old. So this is what we're trying to do. We didn't buy, we don't have 55 yearlings thinking they're all going to make the races, they're all going to be stake horses. Neither did we last year. But virtually all of them made the races outside of maybe 4, 5, 6. Half of them were stake winners, a quarter of them were stake winners, and over half of them took lifetime marks. We had 38 or 40 horses at 2 take lifetime marks last year. So the whole point is to buy successful horses. I know everybody sees the Breeders' Crown. Somebody come up and said, listen, Sister Sledge was 35,000, Better's Wish was 20,000. Hold on. There's lots of expensive ones too. All that does is prove my point that you can buy affordable horses and you can have good horses. Now, that's a rather large barrel of monkeys that you're trying to pull one out of, but at the same time, it is possible, which makes this model great, because when horses like that do well, it only strengthens our mindset on the way we purchase horses. But at the same time, for the most part, big money still wins out in the end for the most part. You look at the success Tony Alanya had. He had one horse for 70, a couple of more that were $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 that did well. But that's a different game, isn't it? And I had said to somebody last night, a writer who used to be a client of ours, very, very nice man, and he came up and he said, I was just in the tent and these nice people were talking and they had nothing but nice things to say about you. And I said, well, that's because we spent a lot of money paying people to go around the track and talk positively about the stable on Breeders' Crown Night. I said, no, I mean, you have to understand, the people that are the Marvin Katz and Al Lidfelds in the world, they want to win everything, right? They're breeding and buying and they're trying to win everything, every big race. But their budgets and their expenditures are massive, insanely massive. And there's no way that we could possibly build a business model to do that. On the other hand, we aren't just there to win the Breeders' Crown, right? We're there to have fun. We had a number of people in the winner's circle at Flamborough last night with Totally Tactor when he took his lifetime mark. And again, when our horses are racing, we have people at the track, and it takes time also as we get horses that are look at Yes, right? White Tiger. White Tiger's not great right now, but I'm certain he'll bounce back, and he had a fantastic 2-year-old year. Yes, was first and second in Indiana his last 2 starts. Win in 53, second in 53. Raced great. Stonebridge Simba was second in 55 in the Liberty Bell last week. We're trying to build something step by step, right? We don't have the money just to sink tons of money into it, buy the best horses, and go to the races. We just can't do that. We're trying to do it slowly but surely, continue to build a stable full of really good horses, and I think we're well on our way to doing that. So when we looked at the Breeders' Crown last night, you look at horse Bold Eagle. I mean, it was lost on me all week that this horse shipped here, flew here from Europe to race against the best horses in North America, and man, oh man, he certainly impressed. He is one specimen. Just a gorgeous horse. 8 or 9 years old, by the way. Take note. 8 or 9 years old. Ramona Hill was unbelievably awesome. Now, one of our clients that is a pedigree wonk, as I said last week, somebody who follows everything and knows all the lines of all the horses, pedigree lines, says to me, the filly that won the 2-year-old pacing Breeders' Crown, Reflect with Me, her mother is a half-sister to Capistrano's mother. It's pretty cool, right? So Reflect with Me was a $120,000 yearling out of Remember When. Remember When sister is Unique Desire. I believe her name is Unique Desire, is the mother of Capistrano. So a little bit of trivia there, and a little bit of some stable connections did well at the breeders, let's say. Amigo Volo was fantastic. This is a horse that broke White Tiger's world record. We had equaled it in 155 and won at the Poconos last year, and then this horse smashed it 54 and a piece. He was good in the Breeders' Crown now. 54 and 3 last quarter, and 30 and 3, and then the fillies went out and trotted in 53 and 2 shortly before that. Tough filly division this year. I was praying so badly that we could get Globetrotting in there, and I'm sure she would have been good. 53 and 2 is a tall order for our girl, but I'm sure she would have shown up well. Too bad she didn't draw in. There's always next year, and besides that, still got a great filly, I think. Tall Dark Stranger was great. A little bit of controversy there, depending on what angle you saw it at and your take on judging and interference and disqualifications. I thought when I saw it that he could have been set back. I don't know if it was enough to cause a setback, but he was only beat ahead. I mean, if he's beat 3/4 of a length, I don't know. I think they might have got it right, and I think the judges might have got it right on this one. When they went under the wire, I had bad Tall Dark Stranger, so I was a little biased at the time, but I thought that maybe he would have been set back, and they did hit wheels right at the wire. He was just beat. It did appear on one angle anyway that it did hinder his momentum. I think it was enough. So that's arguable, but at the end of the day, he was set back. Poppy Rob Hanover, or Pop Rob Hanover, whatever his name is, he was a winner. First place, second, Tall Dark Stranger was placed up. Good for Ontario, good for Bettor's Delight, as he was a winner. And then the next night, I was on my way over to the track after Totally Tactor had won. I was on my way. Oh, wow. I was on my way. One of our clients, I was waiting to see them. They said, we've been here for an hour. We're down in the barn. I'm at the barn. Poppy Rob Hanover setback. So Caviar Alley and Sharton, I missed that race, but they said that was some kind of battle. Sharton rarely gets beat, but Caviar Alley's had her number a couple of times this year, and it's always been, you always hate to see that such a good horse be a bridesmaid all the time. So it's good to see. Sometimes Caviar Alley and bridesmaids, so to speak, beat their divisional rivals. Sometimes it's good for the sport, much like Bold Eagle winning is good for the sport. Manchego was unbelievable. 6-length romp. That was an impressive mile. Just a devastating victory for her. For the other one, just really deflated the rest of the division. She looked like she could be the best, might be the best. She was the best last night. Warwiu Butte equally as impressive in her victory. She's got easily divisional honors. Just a really, really impressive looking horse. And a horse that I was a little surprised. Green Shoe, right? Brian Sears took a lot of flack in the Hamilton. Listen, let me preface this by saying Brian Sears is one of the best drivers of all time. There is no arguing that. The White Knight is and always will be a tremendous force in this sport. And he took a lot of flack in the Hambletonian for getting shuffled back with Green Shoe. Now, those are good horses. But if you're sitting 6th with Green Shoe and you look up and you know you're trying to flush cover, you're going to be 4th over, I don't know if it's the... Again, who the hell, who am I to say? It just seemed like he was in a tough spot. And then, of course, the horse ran in front of him in the last turn, took him out of the race, and it was just an absolute abomination for him after that. 26 flat in the end of it, finished second. It is really, really hard. I felt so bad. You know, and he's the best horse in the world, so don't feel bad for him. But he got beat fair and square, but at the end of the day, between being, you know, so far out of it at the 3/4 and then having the horse make a break in front of him, it was tough. You know, it's hard to blame Brian Sears. He just went out and obliterated them with Bold Eagle, a horse he'd never driven before, shortly after that. And a great driver. It's just unfortunate that the horse got out of the race a little bit. But that's why we race the races, right? You can never tell. And there were a lot of long shots won on Friday and Saturday. Bold Eagle certainly wasn't one of them. Ramona Hill was tremendous out of the 10-hole. The Reflect With Me, the same family as Capistrano, was awesome. Amigo Volo was good. Tall Dark Stranger, I don't want to miss it. I know I missed a couple. Just these were incredible miles for me. Caviar Early and Sharton continue their battle. And then Manchego was fabulous. Warwick Butin and Jim Hensey was good, who beat Green Shoe. Wasn't like he fluked into it. Jim Hensey's been a tremendous horse all year also. So throughout, as I said, throughout the weekend, one second. Coming in. I'm just finishing my video up. Well, one of them. The first one.
You're only at video number 1?
I'm only at video number 1.
No.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Letting everybody know about the races. What was your favorite race last night? This is Julia Evans. Who's your favorite one? You don't know? You don't know one horse that won? One that you thought, what about Bold Eagle? The old horse with the... Yeah? He's pretty impressive. Bold Eagle is some kind of horse. So, as I was saying to everybody, the Breeders' Crown was kind of lost on me. I felt like a little bit of an idiot halfway through the night that, you know, this was taking place here, in my home, around me, and it was just then sinking in. I think it's just because I'm busy all the time, and, you know, I don't want to say I take it for granted, but it appears I did a little bit. So, that was the Breeders' Crown, and I was so pleased with how many people there's... I was running around all night, both nights, because we had clients everywhere. Did you guys get to see everything?
Everything where?
All the babies you want to see?
I think so.
Let me come up to the top barn for a minute. Come up to the top barn. You getting in or staying out?
We'll walk up.
All right. So that's John Evans and his daughter, Julia. They're always at the barn, love the races. And they were at the Breeders' Crown, so I was at their table also. And then from time to time, I would... I got to go here. So-and-so's upstairs. Another person's outside. Another person's in the tent. I feel terrible. I didn't get over to the COSA tent. I believe it was the COSA tent, sponsored tent. And over there was Earl Hoynes and Lucette, his wife. I didn't get to see them. They come all the way here from Texas. And I apologize, didn't get to see you guys. But I got to see an awful lot of people and an awful lot of great racing. What else do we got? So the Breeders, as I said, we talked about the Breeders' Crown. Talked about how I kind of didn't take it all in until it was almost too late. You know what was funny? I had a gentleman come up to me who's fairly affluent in the industry and said, geez, you know, you're having a great run. You get all these clients. It's great. He said, but I was on your site. He said, I frequently go on your site and you have a lot of shares on there. He said, is that concerning? I said, no. He said, but how? I said, here, I'll put it to you this way. And I was just talking to one of our clients about the same thing. We've done a number of different things. The first year, I had to get horses from wherever I could, however I could, and try and build up a roster, build up the stable. And we did that. We brought a lot of clients on board. Same thing next year. A lot of clients come on board. But that wasn't the original mandate, right? It wasn't to sell out. The original mandate was to build a vehicle for people to get from the general public to horse racing, from the general public to our industry. Not specifically to the stable, although most of them did, but to the industry. And the only way to do that is to have available shares. So we switched gears a little bit 2 years ago, and I made reference to it a couple of times. What we did was, rather than me calling up all our clients trying to convince them to buy shares in horses, I let the horses sell themselves. What I did was I did work with some clients in-house to buy all the shares of the horses. They helped me. Sure, if you look at the stable, there's probably $200,000 or $300,000 worth of shares on there right now. Those shares weren't given to me. The sale didn't say, "Oh, go on, Anthony. Go on." It didn't do that. We had clients that stepped up and stand behind us that buy these shares with us. And then throughout the year, you or anybody else that is interested in the horses, buy the horses. And the reason I'm certain this works, look at the 2-year-olds we have. Between the 2-year-olds in the barn and aged horses, so anything over a 1-year-old in the stable, there's virtually less than 200 shares of those available. Now, granted, I own some of those shares too. But there's 200 shares that are available left to purchase from the stable. And the reason that's important is, like anything else, you go into Costco or Walmart, they have lots, right? They have inventory for people to purchase. Like a restaurant, if you're a steakhouse and you run out of steak at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, it's not a very good restaurant. But at the same time, you don't want to be left with too much steak, too much inventory. So this is the plight. The only real tricky part of the stable is having enough inventory to fulfill our mandate, which is to bring people into horse racing from the general public, but not have so much that we're saturated and we can't sell those shares. And I think last year is a good indicator that we had enough, and we continue to have enough. And I think this year we're going to get back to doing something we didn't do that much of last year. I'm going to try and do a little more speaking in the general public. I'm going to try and really reach out to people in society and show them dollar for dollar that horse racing has more entertainment value than any other sports entity on earth. And I think we can prove that mathematically. And we've talked about this. I don't want to go down the road where, going to a Leafs game or a ball game and how much less it is to own 1% of a horse and how much more fun. And I can talk about this all day, but you guys have heard it all. Problem is the general public has not. And that's what we need to do at the stable, and that's what we're trying to do. Shift gears. We got a lot of big things, like we usually do. A lot of big things on the go, a lot of things we're trying to finalize, a lot of things we're trying to start up. And how the stable is situated is perfect. For me right now, is exactly how it needs to be. So for those of the people out there that maybe aren't clients of ours or don't understand how the stable works, or are just curious and looking to see what's going on, you watch these videos, you may not understand the business model, and that may not be because you're much smarter than me, but mostly because you don't understand what our clients are after and what we're trying to do. We are trying to show people the value, as I said, of entertainment in horse racing. We can't do that unless we get people involved in horse racing. We can't get them involved in horse racing if we don't have any shares of our horses left. So for those out there saying, "See, I knew they'd fail," don't think you really grasp what we're trying to do. Anyway, the videos yesterday were really, to be honest, tremendous. That isn't from me trying to sell shares to you, although I'm always going to be positive, and you know that. I talk about this is a really nice filly or that's a really nice colt because I believe they are. It's not because I'm trying to blow smoke up your ass. I really believe the ones I went with, I was impressed with yesterday. I could tell you easily. I did put 10 numbers beside horses. So let me go through. You're going to have a video of all the yearlings in a minute. Let me go through all the babies that caught my eye yesterday. Now, they are in alphabetical order because I simply went down the list and said, yeah, that was impressive. That was impressive. That was impressive. And then after that, I do have a list of horses that I thought were 1 through 10, the most impressive horses I saw. And they weren't necessarily ones I went with. The first horse is. The second horse was not. Third horse was not. Neither was the fourth or the fifth. So there you go. We'll start with the horses. Argento is the Donato Hanover colt. I thought was really, really impressive yesterday. Danny went with him. It's the first time Danny went with him, and he really liked him. It's pretty hard not to like him. He's got a beautiful gait, nice passing gaited trotter. Doesn't look like he's going to interfere in any way. Nice size to him, decent breeding. This was one of my top picks in Lexington. He went in the last day, and we were very lucky to have him. Argento does exactly what we need him to do. Barbie's Crown was impressive yesterday. Now, this filly got a little curb. Not a big deal. She can get a little pacey, so we added some weight to her. All she did was trot yesterday and look fantastic. This is the wheeling and dealing filly that Steve Palermo purchased out of Lexington for himself. Invited me in on the filly. It's kind of a semi-private thing, I guess. And Barbie's Crown, none of you really recognize this because he didn't come to fruition last year, but it was the same type of situation with Johan. We needed purchasers for the shares. Steve Palermo bought all the horse and ended up selling half of them to me. And he didn't race. He got injured, and we're trying to get him started back up. And now, I see you've called. I'll call you right back. So we have Argento. Barbie's Crown was very impressive to me. A horse that's one of the most interesting horses on the track to me, and he'll sell out regardless of what I tell you. He will. And his name is Braemar. This is the brother to Vegas Vacation by Betting Line. James was very, very impressed with him yesterday. This horse had the hobbles on 3 days and looked like $1 million yesterday. Broadway Roll, she's small, but she's got a real quick gait to her, and she doesn't seem to get tired, and she likes her work. Two very important things that I like to see in a young horse. And Broadway Roll, the Roll with Joe filly, was impressive yesterday. Can't Muscle Me, I went with her, although she isn't on my top 10 list. She is a horse that I thought went very, very good yesterday. All the muscle masses we have, I've been very, very impressed with. Eternity Road, James went with him. That's the guy that wears the screen. He's scared of nothing except for horses. So we just have to get him in groups and get him in sets and get him used to what he is doing and what he needs to do. So Eternity Road was very good. First Glance, the gray horse, looked great. The Thinking Out Loud pacer, Ontario Sired Colt, he looked great yesterday. Girls with Swirls, she looked awesome. I didn't realize how good she looked until I watched the video after. This filly looks awesome, and now I know why Danny was so adamant she stay down in his barn. He loves this filly, and she looked impressive. Gray is the New Red. Jason owns a piece of her. He went with her yesterday. Like what he liked what he saw, and I liked what I saw in her also. GW Chrome looked good. Need to change a few little things with Chrome. The stupid martingale's too loose on it. He doesn't even need it anyway. My God Almighty. He doesn't even need it any. Welcome to my Sunday, in case you're wondering. GW Chrome doesn't need it. Needs a little set of bell boots, maybe some bandages behind. He'll be good to go from now on. I'll go with him all next week. Holy Chick looked really good. This is one of our most inexpensive horses. She looks awesome on the track. Eglaire AM, the sister by Southwind Frank, the sister to Harness AM. She's a stronger version of Harness AM. Big, long, beautiful gait on her. Really impressive looking filly on the track. I'm a Lovely Lady, who's been impressive to me since day one, and she looked really, really good yesterday. Keystone Raven, little stubbornness on the track, but only had the hobbles on 3 days. She's coming around and looks really, really good. Nice gait. She's a bigger, stronger, Better's Delight, if you will. A little stronger and bigger on average, I think, than most of the ones you'll see. Mama Knows Best, our actual most inexpensive animal at the training center. She looks great. Every week, swoop the field. All she does is trot. Beautiful filly. Really impressed with Mama Knows Best. Northern Blizzard looked great. This is the Royalty for Life colt, the big giant Royalty for Life colt we bought. Roy Hill may need to be castrated. See him switch his tail sometimes, but when he paces, whoa, he can really go. Very well bred. I think his sisters and brothers were a little cranky too, if I remember correctly. But we can fix that. Roy may need to go see the veterinarian for a couple of minutes. So admirable. The only kicker was So Admirable. She's been sick a couple of times since she's been here. I'm going to take her, throw her out in the field for a couple of weeks, and let her actually get over this properly. She can't seem to shake this virus good, and you really just need her immune system to kickstart, right? Maybe give her some medication called XSTEM. Some people have some good luck with it. It's supposed to be an immune stimulant. Is it? I don't know. But we'll probably put her on XSTEM and kick her out for a couple of weeks. But she's got such a beautiful gait, that filly. She's big. The smallest filly we have by far, Sunshine in May. How good did she look yesterday? What a beautiful little filly. She's tiny, she's a midget, but she can really, really go. Sunshine in May look great. Tipsy and Dixie, another filly that of the three muscle masses, she's the smallest. She's got a lot of fire in her, this filly. She's kicked like 10 times since she's been here, but she can really dance when she's on the track. One of the most impressive horses I've seen come through this barn, maybe ever. And it's so early, you can't tell. Let me rephrase that. There's no way for me to tell how good any horse is right now. And anybody who can tell you they can's a liar or an idiot, one or the other. But there are horses that just look good, right? Globetrotting, I was always high on Globetrotting because she looked good. Lawmaker, Cruising in Style, White Tiger. These are horses that all exhibited indicators, let's say indicators of talent. And Were We Welcome, the muscle mass filly we bought in London last week, is amongst those horses. Now, do not try and draw conclusions on how those horses are racing now and how she could. There can't be a correlation. All I can tell you is these horses exhibited talent. They had indicators from day one, and other horses that weren't that good. Johan injured himself. I thought he was a great horse last year. He injured himself. So don't confuse how they look in the first week, the first days, the first month, the first 2 months with how they could look. I can give you indicators, horses that, right away a light goes off in your head. Jesus, a talented horse. This horse trots nice. This horse got her ears up. She got a great work ethic. She got a great attitude. She listens. She somehow understands what she's supposed to do. That is Were We Welcome. That's the best way for me to put that. And then Well and Down, a small filly also, but man, oh man, she got a beautiful gait. She loves to fight. She loves to fight, both with humans and horses at any given time. So a horse that I love her attitude. So I think you can figure out my short little top 10 list. Who's going to make that up? Were We Welcome is on the top. This is an incredibly talented filly. 6 days. We bought her Sunday. She jogged Monday. She went under the drone yesterday. You could see she was timid, but when I put her in gear after a mile or so and let her dance, she was incredible. And Were We Welcome tops my list so far. Braemar, another horse that exhibits a lot of indicators of talent. He's number 2. Number 3, Girls with Swirls. I didn't see how good she looked until I looked at the video. She was very, very good. Number 4, I'm a Lovely Lady. Small filly, my MVP. I'm obviously a little biased because we bred our mares to my MVP, but she looked like she had lots to offer yesterday and was really impressive. Number 5, the most inexpensive horse we bought. Mama Knows Best. Does everything right. Where's her saturation point? Where can she just not do anymore? I don't know, and we won't know until June. But I know one thing, as of right now, she does everything right. Number 6, Broadway Roll. She's small, tiny little filly, but she's feisty, got a great gait, and almost all of her stake races are on half-mile tracks in New York. So her size certainly doesn't concern me. Broadway Roll, impressive. Eternity Road, number 7. Oh, how did I'm going to supplement somebody in here. Can't Deny My Spirit. What the hell was I thinking? He's not on here? It's a travesty. Looked fantastic, that horse yesterday. Can't Deny My Spirit. Anyway, he's on there now. Can't Deny My Spirit somewhere in there. So now my list 11. What was it? Eternity Road was fantastic. Just has to get him some experience. Have to get him some experience. That will come. 8, Argento. I told you how good he looked. Number 9, Barbie's Crown was fantastic yesterday. Number 10, any of these 10 could have been anywhere all over the list. Eagle AM. Eagle AM was tremendous yesterday. So we've achieved. Heading into Harrisburg, we got what we wanted. We wanted talented yearlings so far, and we have more to look at. So what I'm going to do is break down a list this week. What we have. Pacing fillies, trotting fillies, pacing colts, trotting colts, jurisdictions are in, and try and balance that ship out if we can. Also, we're going to be looking for, there's a couple of horses we're still looking for. We would like to fill that role of potential horse that looks like a Grand Circuit horse. There are a number, and thank God we have clients that have been looking at this. Steve Palermo, a good friend of mine, has been looking at horses for the last week. He gave me 1 or 2 to look at. I have a few that I've noticed, but I still have a lot of the sale to go through still. I'll have a video ready for you of some sort middle of the week. So we have a lot of our checks, our boxes checked off so far for those horses. What I said we'd do this fall and not fall into the trap we had last year, I think we're well on our way. Our group's own Brave World, who won the Open, the preferred handicap at Mohawk 2 weeks ago. Yes, just won a major stake race 2 weeks ago, was second last week. Stonebridge Simba was second in the Liberty Bell. These are horses we're retaining. They look great. I believe White Tiger, under arrest and a comeback, has hopefully an optimistic winter and future in front of him. There doesn't appear to be any reason he can't. I think he's just transitioning. He's finding it a little more difficult from that 3 to 4 year old season. But I hope a little time off, put a little more muscle on him. I think we'll have a very effective 4-year-old in White Tiger. What else do we have here? Brave World. West 52nd's been second or third in stake race in Northfield. He'll be coming back. Wiggle Delight just winning 53-2, 2-year-old. So although she won't be around this winter, she'll be resting. Another filly that looked good, Miss Brampton Beast, Frontier Cruise. Sunshine and Shade's got a little more racing due. What about 5-Run Homer? And Totally Tacked Her. Horses are rounding into exactly what we need them to look like. It's almost November. They both 2 wins in a row for Homer. First lifetime win for Totally Tacked Her this week. Cruising in Styles, racing at the Meadowlands. And what about Oh So Pine? Terrible year so far. We moved him out to Illinois. He started to come on late. Now we raced him the other night. That was the best group of horses he's ever raced against. And a closing 5th, 155-3, 28-3 on the end of it. I believe we're going to have a good horse this winter in the form of Oh So Pine under Carmen Auciello. Very impressed with the way our lineup looks for racehorses. Very impressed with the way our lineup looks for yearlings. The stable is rounding into exactly what we need it to be. And although it's a little frustrating watching all those fast horses in the Breeders' Crown, looking beside them and seeing how much they sold for, just emphasizes the model of the stable.ca in the fact that you can get something for anything at the yearling sales. So that's the opening video, 36 minutes. I actually thought it would run a little longer. Very happy with the way this week went. I'm going to join White Tiger in Pennsylvania on Wednesday. I might actually head over and drive West 52nd Tuesday, heading towards Pennsylvania. So I might go drive West 52nd Tuesday, White Tiger on Wednesday. Monday, don't forget, we have Miss Brampton Beast and Wiggle Delight in the final of the Harvest Series. Sunshine and Shade and Frontier Cruise on Thursday. A lot still going on. Still tons to do. It won't slow down until the first part of December, and then, of course, it's open house time on December the 15th. All of you that are not in Canada or Ontario, make some plans. Come on out. December 15th is when the open house is going to be. That's a Sunday. Might actually have a little winter barbecue going on that day, depending on how the weather looks, I suppose. We'll know for sure. So, a great weekend for the Breeders' Crown. A little rainy, but nevertheless didn't stop the racing from being tremendous. A lot of surprises, but at the same time, a lot of impressive miles. And it was something else to see Bold Eagle come from Europe and come here and win in the Breeders' Crown. So, Harrisburg's a big deal. We are going to be putting together groups of people. I am very cautious when I'm going to Harrisburg every year because I don't have the ability to be writing a ton of checks at the end of Harrisburg. So we do want to make sure, if you haven't got what you wanted yet, you're not sure if it's here, and you're interested in something that we are looking at, or maybe bring something to our attention that we didn't see, we are going to be needing a lot of help in Harrisburg. So if you're out there and you want to be a part of partnering with us, and you think that your horse is in Harrisburg or one of the ones we like is, please speak up, because it makes my job much easier. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you all had fun at the Breeders' Crown. It was great to see everybody out. Talk to you soon.